you don't see the recording countdown ever happen, you'll earn bonus brownie points in my head for saying, hey, you forgot to turn the recorder on. And I'll go, oh, yes, thank you. I adore you. So earn brownie points for always reminding me to get that to go, because otherwise we miss the recording. Miss the making of the recording, and I can't upload it and you can't watch it later. So yes, all recordings, all lectures are recorded so that you can watch them at home if need be. That is not to encourage you not to come to class, but sometimes stuff happens. And if you're sick, please don't come in. The super flu's wandering around, and we don't want to infect everybody else. And you have work things that you're juggling. So 113 Fundamentals of Computers and Programming. It's an introductory course. I'll read this aloud, because why not? That's what we like to do. In developing both procedural and object-oriented logic for problem solving, let's throw in a lot of buzzwords, utilizing several program development tools and techniques, including traditional flowcharts, pseudocode, and a programming language. Okay, to boil it down, we're going to learn basically the idea behind computer logic and how to make computers do things. We're not going to do anything cool like make them fly drones around, and control robots or whatever. But on the other hand, all devices that are programmed, whether they're on your tablet or your phone or your computer or the computers that run your car or whatever, they all follow the same paradigms. They all work in similar ways behind the scenes, even though the hardware is completely different. They all have to be able to make decisions. What am I going to do next? What did the user tell me to do? Should I quit right now? Should I repeat the process? That's all the kind of stuff that we're going to be learning. The course will present the core concepts of writing programs, which are variables, decisions, loops, functions, and objects, which apply regardless of the programming language. The course is designed to assume no programming experience. On the other hand, some of y'all probably had programming in high school. Anybody want to wave their hands? You had a programming class? Alrighty. And or you may program at home, or maybe you came in from a job. How many have programming experience like that? Okay. So sometimes I get students in who know more about the topic than I do, and that's really cool. But maybe you should have been allowed to go on and take a later course. So anyways, it's cool that a lot of us are on the same page. We haven't had programming in high school, and we don't have job experience on it yet. That's totally cool. That's what I'm expecting. Don't come in here thinking, oh, I don't know enough about computers. I'm not going to be able to do this. Yeah, you know enough about computers. You know how to type. You know how to use a mouse. You know how to get on the internet. You're going to be able to rock and roll. The course is designed to assume no programming experience. A script programming language. More buzzwords. The one we're going to use is called Python. Will be introduced and used to implement the core concepts. So this is really kind of like the key things we're going to be learning about, these ideas, and creating flowcharts, pseudocode, and programming language. And we'll learn all about what those terms mean. So I'm Professor Jeff Thompson. I'm right downstairs in room 102. I haven't posted my office hours on D2L yet, but you'll be able to see them. I'm here Monday through Thursday. If you need to see me on Friday, set up an appointment, and I will come and meet you. So, absolute fastest way to get a hold of me is by text. If you email, of course, I'm going to answer, but, text, I respond much more quickly. And if you send me an email, because it's too long to say in text, there's nothing wrong with sending me a text saying, hey, I sent you some email. And then, immediately, as long as I'm not driving on the road, I'll hop to it and take a look at what you said. So we know where we are because you're already here. Delivery method, hybrid, lecture and online, meaning that both you come into class and there's, stuff that you're going to do online. So the class uses 2 textbooks. One of them is completely online. Doesn't even look like a textbook, so to speak. It's a web page, but it's got a whole bunch of chapters. It's outlined out like a web book, like a textbook. So that one's under the Open Book Project. It's called How to Think Like a Computer Scientist using Python 3. That's its full name. It's a really cool site. You'll be able to just go through it, read it, and we're going to do a lot of us stepping through this together. I'll go to chapter 4. I'll scroll up and down. I'll lecture about what we're seeing here. We may type in one of the programs here. More often, I will type in a program of my own that I want you to see how to do. And when I'm typing in a program up here, I'm hoping that you will type along as well. And again, we'll get into more of that in a minute as we talk about how the class is organized and methodology. Also, there's another textbook. You can get it as a printed textbook, but you specifically need the version with access to MindTap. And if you have access to MindTap, they give you an online version as a PDF or, chapters that you can tab through. So if you do that, then you don't have to buy a physical textbook. But if you, on the other hand, you like having a, paper in your hands, I totally understand. You can do that as well. If you go to the bookstore, you're going to get, I believe, the MindTap version of it. And so I'll be setting up our MindTap section, and we'll be taking some quizzes there, and they'll be reading assignments and stuff like that there. Important dates. What's the most important date? The spring break. Oh, well, I guess some of these other ones are important as well. Yeah, the midterm, and, well, we're going to have 2 exams and then a final exam. And the final exam is not like a super duper exam that's comprehensive over everything or whatever. All 3 of these exams are just worth the same, This is like over Unit 1, that's over Unit 2, and this is over Unit 3. So, we go for a while, we take an exam. We go for a while, we take an exam. We go for a while, we take an exam. Like that. So that's why it says midterm 1 and midterm 2. I should just say exam Unit 1, exam Unit 2, and final exam, parentheses, Unit 3. I'll probably reword it like that. So, free personal counseling. Confidential counseling services are available to all students to help students resolve emotional difficulties, improve personal skills, overcome the effects of trauma or grief, decrease substance use, and achieve their intellectual and personal potential. And there's absolutely no reason not to engage in that kind of stuff if you have any needs whatsoever. My mother worked in a building right next to the Murrow, explosion, the Tim McVeigh explosion, and you can bet she needed counseling after that, for post-traumatic. And, I know some people are in the military, and have served in service or whatever. You have any reason, go talk to them. So you can learn more and there's a web page here, and you can call for a confidential appointment. So our online section is done through the learning software known as Brightspace. Used to just be called D2L. d2l.rose.edu. They didn't change our URL when they started calling it Brightspace, but then they would have called it bs.rose.edu, and then D2L was a better acronym. All homework assignments, exams, lecture notes, and grades will be posted there. If I want you to do something on MindTap instead, I will post direct links to it. It's not like you're going to have to monitor 2 sites and go, I don't know which one I should be using. Everything will be posted to D2L, and then if you're supposed to go to another website in order to do it, there'll be a link posted there. Course objectives. You should be able to understand fundamental concepts and general principles of programming, such as loops, decision statements, and input and output. Like loops are the most important things that computers do. If you're sitting there playing Call of Duty, it's sitting there running in a loop, waiting for you to press on the joysticks or tap on the keystrokes or whatever in order to move your character around. And it's a multiplayer game. You're going to have other people, in other places. So you can be sure that your computer is running loops, thousands of times a second in order to wait for input. Even something as simple as Pac-Man, where you're moving the thing around on the screen. Waka, waka, waka. He's moving around on the screen. The program is looping. It accepts input, which is the joystick moving in one of 4 ways, and then it processes the input based on decision. Okay, well, if the person presses up, but there's a ghost in the way, what's going to happen? And then all of the memory things are updated and redisplayed, and then it continues to loop like that. So loops, decision statements, and input and output. Our programs are primarily, 90% of them, are going to involve what's known as text-based input. What is text-based input? I don't know if any of y'all have old enough to use DOS to set up your games or whatever like that, or if you're a system administrator, or a Linux user or whatever, you're well used to using the terminal. But a text input is done, in a little typing program like that, as opposed to windowed input, which is a program that pops up with buttons, and sliders and stuff like that. Most of what we're going to be doing is via that, because that's traditionally the way you learn to program. It's the oldest style of programming. Well, oldest unless you go back to the 40s and 50s where they used punch cards and stuff like that. Once they graduated beyond punch cards to using screens, you can sure it was as revolutionary as moving to touchscreen devices was in the year 2000, or whenever Androids and iPhones were invented or whatever. So that's the kind of programming we'll be doing. You'll type stuff in, what is your age, blah, 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 what is your course, blah, 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 that kind of thing, and it'll print something out in response. But we'll also do some kind of graphical programming, which is where we'll draw things on the screen based on, because that's a really good way of hammering in concepts, is if you can type something and then you see it go and, and draw a bunch of circles on the screen, and then you see that you can adjust something and it draws circles of different sizes or different colors, that hammers in the concept of what's going on really well. So we'll be doing that as well, and people often like that. Understand and create flowcharts and pseudocode, showing program logic. Well, what's a flowchart, huh? If you have taken a programming course in the past, at least when I did back in the dark ages, you learned how to draw. Oh, come on. I just wanted a little picture. Okay, fine. Something like that. That's a flowchart. It's going along, and then a decision happens, and it branches off in a couple of ways. And different shapes mean different things, and I would never use this flowchart. That's completely different than the kind that I'm going to be showing you. But the idea is the same. Got an oval shape, a pill shape up at the top, that means stars, and the rectangles mean some kind of math processing, and the diamonds, rhombuses, whatever you want to call them, and mean another thing. I usually call them diamonds. So we'll learn about that. And that's a visual representation of the logic. What is my program going to do? It's going to count from 1 to 10. Well, I can map out, using a flowchart, how that would work. I can map out a program in flowcharts and then hand it to another programmer, and then they'll be able to implement it if my flowcharts are good enough. So flowcharts can diagram the logic, but they're not related to any specific language. You've heard of the C programming language or Java or whatever. You can get a flowchart, and then any of those programmers will be able to implement it. So that's one of those terms. Then there's another term we saw called pseudocode. Pseudocode is not a programming language. Sounds like one. It's code, isn't it? It's a loosey-goosey English description. Set total to 0. Get list of numbers. Loop through each number in the list, adding each number to the total in the loop. If the number is more than 0, print it's positive, else print it's 0 or less in div. So, this is logic, but it's not written in any particular syntax. You don't get to type that into a program and run it. It's just an English description. It's like the difference between loading up Google Maps and seeing exactly what everything is, or giving somebody, a list of instructions. Go to 15th Street, turn left. Go to Sooner, turn left again, pull into Walmart. There, you gave 3 sets of instructions. That's pseudocode. Instead of saying, walk forward 17 feet, turn 90 degrees, whatever, that kind of stuff. So, and then there's programming. Programming is when you take a flowchart or pseudocode logic and you actually implement it in something that can run on a computer. And we're going to learn how to do all 3 of those. Which is, why we will learn to write and run Python script programs. So you will learn a programming language as you go through this. Will you use this language later in life? Well, certainly as you continue in your Rose career, like if you're going into the cyber program, and you take scripting or whatever, you take some of Ken Dewey's classes, you most likely are going to be using Python. I'm absolutely sure you will in the scripting classes that you're going to take. Python is also used in the industry. Whenever you see those beautiful pictures that NASA publishes from the space probes or the space telescope or whatever, they're processing all their data in Python. It's an exceptionally good language for doing that because it's got an easier syntax. You can build programs pretty dang quickly with it that would take a lot longer to build with other programming languages. Does that mean that once you take Python, you're not going to be able to do those other languages? Well, it means that you don't know them yet. But you can turn around and you can take the C++ programming course here, or pop open a book, or take the Java course here, or whatever. And the concepts you've learned here will carry over to the next programming language you try to learn. And it's kind of like in order to become, a real programmer, you learn one language, and then you learn another language, and then based on those 2 things, you know a lot about programming things. And you could pick up any other languages that you needed, just, right off the top of your head. Grading scale, typical, 90 to 100 is an A, 80 and above is a B, 70 and above is a C, and so on. Grades are broken down like this. Programming homework, 34%. In-class homework. I forgot to move the quizzes down to the exams. Like that. I'll republish this. Anytime I change the syllabus, I will put a notice out in D2L so that it's no surprise to you. You know, it's kind of sneaky for me to change it in the background without letting everybody know. And if it's a significant one, like it involves grades or whatever, I will also email out. So hope everybody knows how to access your email, your rader.rose.edu email address, and it's pretty cool. You can set it up, you know, your phone or whatever to read it. Programming homework as opposed to in-class homework. I need to change that word to assignments because it's not much of a homework, is it, if you're doing in class? And then the quizzes and the exams. Everybody knows what a quiz is. Everybody knows what an exam is. What homework is I'll give you some problem that I want you to program yourself. Or it'll be some assignment out on Mind tab that I want you to do. Go out and draw a flow chart that looks like this and upload it, blah, blah, blah. So you have the idea of homework. What an in-class assignment is, and we'll probably do one today, is where I sit up here and type. Maybe I'll hand out instructions. Probably not. I don't print stuff anymore. We're you know, not supposed to be, you know, since our budget gets cut by $1 million each year, we can't afford paper. And I'd be kind of silly there. We should preserve the trees as well, right? So I'd give you online instructions, or I'm just going to give you instructions here. And I'll type along. You type along with me. If you have a typing disability where you cannot type, you know, I've had people, you know, who had control only over one hand, and so it took them 3 times as long to type as it did for 2, you know, as, you know, for other people. I don't expect you to have taken a typing course and to be able to go at 120, you know, words a minute or whatever. Nobody takes typing courses anymore. So anyways, we'll go at a pace where everybody can follow. Like I said, if you have a need for extra time in typing in things, we'll need to talk about it. I'll be glad to help you. There's the Office of Disability Services, which I will mention at a later point in the syllabus. So I'm going to go along. I'm going to type stuff in. You're going to type stuff in too. We're going to run the program. If you know, if you get what are known as syntax errors, your program's not going to run, and it's going to tell you why it's not running. It's not mysterious. It's not just that it throws up its arms in the air and you get no idea. Instead, it's going to run, or it's not, and you're going to need to make the fixes. You're going to need to find the mistakes. You know, I misspelled this word or that kind of word. If you get stuck, raise your hand, and I'll come back there and help. And periodically, as long as I remember, I'll also stop, you know, and wander around, make sure everybody's going, because I don't want to get ahead, you know, of where you are. So that's the in-class assignments. You typing stuff in along with me to illustrate a programming concept so that we can get a working program based on it, and then later on, you probably use the same code or the same ideas in homework. So you will use the D2L Dropbox. It's no longer known as a Dropbox. It's known as assignments. Link for our class. You'll upload your Python script, pseudocode or flowchart for your assignment, for each assignment. That kind of is redundant. And then I'll turn around and I'll grade it. And when I grade it, if you get 100, I may not give you much feedback on it. I may just say, great, or good job. You know, what else is there to say? You did it perfectly. But if it doesn't run, or if it doesn't run correctly, I'll give you more feedback. If it doesn't run at all, I'll say, you need to revise this. And if it doesn't run at all, you're not going to get much credit for it. But that doesn't mean that you failed the assignment. It just means that you need to turn around, read the feedback that I gave you, find out what's wrong. If you need an office appointment with me, I don't know if we have time after class or if another class comes in immediately after us. Yeah, looks like we could hang out in this room, you know, 15, 20 minutes afterwards. So if you're stuck on an assignment, homework is the same way. You know, if you can't get something done, actually we're totally talking about homework at this point. You know, if it doesn't work, if you don't get full credit, it means that I want you to change something and you're going to re-upload it. The only exception to that is if you fail it because you cheated on it. I'm not going to give you another chance to do that. We'll talk about academic dishonesty in a moment. So your programs must run in order to get any credit. If they have syntax errors, they won't run. You receive 1 out of 100 points for the assignment. You fail the assignment big time if it doesn't run. That doesn't mean that, oh, I have to get it perfect, I'm not going to even turn this in. This doesn't work, that kind of stuff. But a syntax error is an entirely different level of error than a logic error. A logic error just means that it doesn't work right. It asks for your age, and if you type in an age under 21, it's supposed to say, okay, you can't get a drink. Instead, you type in your age, and it says, okay, welcome to the bar. Go ahead and get whatever you want. That's a logic error. But if when you run it, it just sits there and says syntax error, it's because of a fundamental error in the program, and it means that you didn't get even far enough in the assignment to learn anything from it. So if that happens, I'll give you feedback. You can turn around, revise it, ask me for help. Just make sure your program runs before you give it to me. If it doesn't run, contact me by email or text explaining why you're turning in something that doesn't run. You could say, I don't even understand. Now, a better solution is if you're typing in something that doesn't run, then you take a picture of your screen and go, and then you send me a text. Use your phone. Take pictures with an iPad if you really want to. Text it to me and say, I don't understand this error. And, day or night, I'll probably jump on it right away, and I'll say, oh, yeah, you see that line right there? You need to fix that. Maybe I'll circle it with a red line or whatever and send it back to you. So people find that a really good way of getting feedback from a professor. Take a picture, send it to me. I'll give you a response very quickly. Never go, oh, I shouldn't text him late at night. One thing, I'm probably up, any hour at night, and another is I know how to mute my phone. So it's not a big deal. Text me day or night, ask for help. I'll usually get back to you very quickly over problems. And I'll reiterate as we go on. Some people take advantage of that, some don't. I get to know some students very well. They get stuck. They send me messages. I send them back. Others just kind of suffer in silence. Don't do that. Partial credit may be awarded for assignments that do not meet full criteria. It was supposed to draw 3 circles on the screen. You just made it draw 1 circle on the screen. Well, it didn't do what it was supposed to do, but it did draw a circle. You're going to get some good credit for that. If you receive only partial credit due to the prior items, you may revise and resubmit. It's not your final answer. These aren't like what happens in the real world. You write a program, you show it to the customer. If they don't like it, you don't just go, okay, that's it, I quit my job, and you walk off. Instead, you revise the program, you show it to them again, and then finally you get it up to the specs that they want. Now, in the real world, what happens then is your customer says, oh, but I really wanted it to do this, and they add new specifications. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to add things after you've done it and say, no, I've changed my mind on that. Your instructions will be your guidebook. Programming assignments are due 1 week from the day they are assigned, unless otherwise specified. If it's coming up in spring break, I'm not going to ask you to turn something in the middle of spring break or whatever. If I think something takes more time than a week, I'll give you more time on it. Homework assignments completed on time will receive a 5% grade bonus. Meaning instead of, uploading it and getting 100 on it, you'll get 100 plus the 5 bonus points on it. And you can kind of build a cushion there so that, if you do badly on another assignment, but you've earned, lots of bonus credit for turning your stuff in on time. Awesome. One caveat. Even though we have this scale here that says, in-class assignments are worth, a third of your grade, and quizzes in your exams are worth a third of your grade. And so I could come in and type along with the professor, and I could take the exams, and you might make a D or something like that without doing any other homework. No, you have to be able to program as well. So you have to have completed at least 50% of the programming assignments. If I give you 12 programming assignments over the course of the year, of the semester, you're going to need to have, turned in working versions of at least half of them. So that usually doesn't bite anybody. Usually if people are coming to class and taking exams, then they're also doing the homework. But I've had the rare student who thought that they could skip everything else and then ace the exams and still pass the course. That it doesn't work that way, unfortunately. So it's non-negotiable. It is a programming course, and you're expected to write programs. Look at that. I have a syntax error right there. Somebody forgot to run spell check, namely me. Late assignment. If you turn it in up to a week late, you get a 10% deduction. Each additional week is another 10% deduction. 2 weeks late is 23 weeks. Late's 30. 4 weeks is 40. If it's more than a month late, I'm not going to give you credit for it. That's just to encourage you to keep up with the class. Why is that? Because if I'm talking about something that we've already done the homework for 2 weeks ago, and you don't understand it because you didn't do the homework, then you're going to be completely lost. It's kind of like if you were walking to Walmart and you get lost in a parking lot, you're certainly not going to make it to Walmart. Penalties, okay. In-class assignments, the stuff that you're typing along with me, you get full credit as long as you do it within 4 weeks. So if you miss a day, watch the video for it. After 4 weeks, a 50% deduction is applied. Now don't wait until the last week of the semester and then decide that you're going to watch 17 videos. The coffee required to do that would kill you. So don't do that. Follow along, keep up, and you're going to do well in the class. Now the risk in me uploading the videos, which is pretty much a requirement. All your instructors should be uploading videos, at least in this building. I don't know how they do it in English classes or art classes or whatever. The risk is that you get used to the idea of, oh, I could blow it off. I'm not going to come to class today because I know the guy's going to upload the video and I can follow it later. What happens is if you start taking that approach, you're most likely not going to watch the videos. And I just say that from past, watching other students do it. You start missing class, you start getting behind. Few people catch up from doing that. So yeah, if you need to miss a day or two occasionally, go ahead and take advantage of it. But don't plan on just skipping a whole bunch of classes because you're not likely to do the homework, the in-class stuff. And if you don't do the in-class stuff, you're not going to be able to do the homework. And the in-class stuff is a 30-year grade. So it's important stuff. Attendance, I do not count off for attendance. I don't, go, well, you missed 2 days. That's 2% off your final grade. I played with that in the past, and I decided that the work you produce is, the proof of the pudding more than just sitting there at your desk, So penalties for late assignments might be waived. If you're pregnant, I know you're going to, be out for doctor's appointments and stuff like that. Talk about it. Tell me why, you're getting behind. Let me know in advance. Stuff like that. I might waive the late penalty. I'm not a jerk about things like that. I may be a jerk about other things, but not that. So, attendance is taken. As a general rule, students who attend courses and do not miss many days perform better in the course. Now, I have had students who just flat out could no longer attend the class because, their work situation changed. And if that's the case, come and talk to me about it and maybe we work something out, because I understand that. Life happens. Any student who does not participate in class within the first 2 weeks will be dropped from the course with an AW on their transcript. That's not my rule, that's the college rule. Fortunately, everybody is already here. I've had a couple people come in after I took attendance. If you didn't get recorded as being here, come by and let me know you were here. AW means you never were at the class. You did not participate and you were withdrawn. And if you've got money from somebody, a grant or something to take the class, and then an AW shows up in your transcript, they're going to come and take their money back from you. That's going to stop the people who in the past would get scholarships or grants or whatever and go and take some courses and never show up, and then they kind of lived off that grant money while accumulating bad grades, on their transcripts, all across the state or whatever. Not allowed anymore. All the schools cooperate on that. You are already here, so you don't have to worry about that, but that's just a warning that in the future, if you have to miss the first couple of days of class, you absolutely need to communicate with your professor. And it sounds absurd, but I've had people come in or email me like on the 4th week and say, why can't I access your class anymore? And I'll say it's because you never showed up and you never turned anything in. You were dropped with an AW. Well, I didn't know I had to be here. Well, that's probably because you didn't read the syllabus. Did you read the syllabus or watch any videos? No. So don't be taken by surprise in that in the future. Obviously, in this class, it's not a problem. You're already here. Student expectations. Your phones, your tablets, your laptops need to be set to silent. It's not like I'm going to throw a pencil at you if I hear a ringtone, but, it's just distracting for people. No game playing during class. League of Legends or whatever those cool games are. I wander around and I see them before people start their class, and that's cool. But once you're going on class, you shouldn't have anything on your screen that would be distracting to the people behind you. And I absolutely know that if you see a person in front of you playing a game, they're more interesting than I am. So don't play games. I've had people sit in the back with their portable games, and then they were playing Street Fighter 2 or whatever, that against each other. I had to go back there, and it was really embarrassing. And I say, stop that. Don't do that. If you're paying the money to come to class, come to class. If you need to take phone calls, though, I understand that. Phones are our lives now anymore. Just set it on silent, and if you get a message, from your wife saying you need to, call me back, or, you're waiting to see what happens with, your sick kid or whatever, I totally understand. If your phone buzzes, go outside, take the call them back. Don't watch distracting. Man, I cannot believe how many typos I have in this for something that I use every semester. I guess I correct it and then don't re-upload it. Don't take calls. Don't listen to headphones unless you need them for hearing aid purposes. It's a no-smoking campus. Right when vapes were first invented, people thought that they could do those in class because it wasn't smoking. And again, it's embarrassing to have to say stop that. So it's in the syllabus now. You do need to check D2L regularly to keep up with the announcements, the assignments, due dates, and quizzes. Everything will be posted there, so as long as you can get to a computer and load up a website, you can find out where we are. Also, you can text me. When is that exam? I'm not going to be all snarky and say, oh, it was posted in D2L. Why didn't you know that? No, I'll tell you. It's fine. But you have to keep up, and that's important if you miss a day. If I modify the syllabus, I will notify you and describe the changes. I post on D2L. I may email it as well. It's up to you to understand the changes. If you have any questions, you can ask me about that later once you see the notification if you weren't in class. What you can expect from me: provide clear instruction for assignments. Hopefully my assignments are clear. If they are not clear, don't give up on them. Ask me for help on them. If you can't understand the assignment, it means probably that a third of the class can't understand the assignment because I was a bonehead and worded it dumb. So what I'll do is I'll create an update to it. Everybody will see it. So if you can't understand it, ask for help. I will give you clear instructions. I will answer questions regarding the assignments. If you ask me in person, email, phone, or text. I'll give at least a week's notice of due assignments and 2 weeks' notice of exams. So if we have a hunch that one of the exams dates is going to be pushed back a week because of snow. We had a horrible semester one year where 5 class dates were canceled because of snow. And that was really bad for the online. Not the online, but the classes that met only once a week. That cut out a huge chunk of time. So anyways, all due dates are clearly shown in D2L. Things will be modified if we start getting bad weather or all having to skip the class. Homework will be graded within a week of submission. If there are errors in your homework, you won't receive full credit, but you can then correct and revise your program, to earn more points. I'll try to answer all email within 24 hours. If it's over the weekend, I can't guarantee that. Communication by text usually gets responses more quickly. If you send email and you're waiting for a response and you're wondering why your dumb prof hasn't sent your response back, feel free to text me and say, hey, I sent you email. I'll go, oh, sorry. And then I'll go and look at it. I won't write your programs for you, but I will look at what you've written and offer suggestions. So again, I recommend you can take a picture. If the picture's not good enough, I'll say email your code. Or you come by. If you have a laptop, then you can just flat out bring your laptop, come to my office, set it down, and I'll point at things with you, and we'll figure it out. Also, if you want to bring your laptop and type stuff in on it during class, rather than use these class computers, that's totally cool. Because what are you going to be doing your homework on? Your home computer. If you can bring your home computer and do it here, even better. Of course, if you have, a 19-inch Alienware, you don't want to tug it to a, class. I understand that. I know I didn't say that right. Office hours are offered for face-to-face consultations. The next section is a huge section. Basically, it just sums up as don't cheat. Alrighty. So what is cheating? Cheating is if you use some material other than your own for homework. 2 students get together, or Joe says, I can't figure out how to do that, and John says, okay, go ahead and look at my program. Or more likely, Joe's going to ask John. Here's what usually happens, honestly. Joe says, I'm stuck on this. Can I see what you did? And John will say, yeah, here, I'll email it to you. And then Joe, instead of using that and figuring out how to make his program work, instead turns in John's program. And I can tell. So then you both fail on it. Or I go and talk, but that's really bad. Don't share your work with somebody else. Don't expect somebody else to share your work. Don't get on Snapchat and ask your friend for help on the quizzes. Again, what they're likely to do is just to copy everything you did rather than just learn from you. So the exception to that is in class. You know, since I'm typing stuff up here, and you're typing stuff here, if you're stuck on something and one of these two students just look over and go, oh, you misspelled that, then feel free to help each other on that. But then don't carry that relationship, that buddy, programming relationship home and think that you're going to work on your homework together, because you need to learn it. You're not just here for a grade, I hope. You're here to learn the stuff. So you got to do your work. Don't cheat on tests. How could you cheat on tests? Well, you could have your laptop open and maybe somebody else is taking pictures of an exam. And don't do anything like that. My exams are open book, so don't think that you need to do more than open book, because I'm pretty generous just in allowing that, right? And you can access any PowerPoints that have been uploaded. You can access our websites. You can go to that How to Think Like a Computer Scientist page that I mentioned and look at the code there. So, going back to cheating. One thing that you can do, or that people always do, professional programmers, whenever you get stuck, they go online and they ask for help. Or if you Google up, how do I write a loop in Python? And it's almost always, like the first 20 hits are going to be to a site called Stack Overflow. And you're going to go there and you're going to see a big example chunk of code. Don't copy that big example chunk of code and paste it in your program. I'm probably going to be able to tell that as well. That is dishonest. If you are going to do that, give credit, right? Just like if you're writing something and you copy, a page out of something and you paste it into your term paper, you're going to get caught, and that would be really bad. What I would do in that case, if you just copied something and you did give it credit, is I would say, okay, I really want you to rewrite this, and we wouldn't treat it the same way as if you don't give credit for it. So it's okay to get online and Google up stuff when you're stuck, because that's what real programmers do, So I expect that, but don't go and find a program, copy and paste it into yours. Understand what they're showing, make it your own. If you copy and paste it, it's probably going to be using programming concepts you don't understand yet, or syntax, that you haven't learned, or, you've been doing it this way through the entire class, and then all of a sudden you're using PhD level, programming. I'm gonna know, so don't do that. Don't try to trick me. What happens if you do that? If you cheat on homework, you're going to get an F on the homework. That's the least that's going to happen. You'll get a 0 on it. If you cheat on an exam, you're going to get a 0 on the exam. That can really kill your grade. If you, so on. You're going to get a 0 on it. And more importantly, you're also going to get reported down to the dean division and to the director of student conduct, and so bad things can happen there. You can be dropped from courses. You can be expelled from the class. From the university. Am I going to try to get you expelled from the university because you copied, one little section of code or something like that? Well, that's not going to be my decision. That's not what I'm going to be agitated for. But the consequences are absolutely serious. Okay, we've talked about enough of that. Student support services. Used to be called the Office of Disability Services, now called Student Access Services. If you have any needs, difficult for you to type, you have dyslexia, you have some kind of learning, you need longer to take an exam, you need the option to record things yourself. Go and talk to them. They'll help you fill out a form, or they'll fill out a form that you take to me, and then it'll tell me what you need. And then I can't go, well, no, I'm not going to give you extra time on that. I don't care what you say. I will work with you on it. So go ahead and contact them. In our brand spanking new shiny Learning Resource Center, you can call. All right, information about withdrawal, incomplete grades, audits, etc. Policies are available in the student handbook. Access the student handbook here. Now, some people, invariably, if they get behind, they say, okay, I want to change to audit. And then I go, okay, fine. And then they stop coming. So you may as well just withdraw from the class if that's what you're going to do. Fortunately, nobody here is going to get behind. and need to do anything like that. And it's actually pretty rare. I like to give good grades. I'm happy giving 70% of the class an A, you know. I'm not one of those profs that says, okay, I need a certain number of A's, certain number of B's, certain number of C's, certain number of D's, and I'm going to fail this number. You know, I don't have a quota. I'm happy to give lots of A's, and I don't get in trouble for doing so. And I would, if I did, I would show them your work and show them your exams and say, okay, you show me a student who doesn't deserve that A. I've never been asked that, but you know, I would go to bat if that was the case. So I want to give everybody grades. If you're following along, if you're doing the homework, if you're asking me for help when you get stuck, and you do reasonably well on the exams. The exams are not as hard as they would sound because I'm here to help you. You raise your hand and say, please explain question 23. I'll come back there and help you. And if it was written poorly, I may come back up here and tell everybody the answer. And it's open book, open PowerPoint, open notes. You ought to be able to do good on the exams. Don't overly stress. I know a lot of people have exam phobia. I hope that certainly after you take one of mine, you'll see that the other ones are not as stressful as you would expect from your normal average everyday exam. You can access the student handbook here. Certainly worth giving a read. All righty. So now that we have talked for 40 minutes about something that you could have read in 5, but I gave it extra, material in there as well. Let's actually see if we can write a program using the Python language. And this is going to be an example of an in-class assignment. So what we need to do is we need to launch something called IDLE, I-D-L-E, not like Billy Idol or American Idol, I-D-O-L, but idle as in you're sitting there not doing anything, which is silly. But I-D-L-E. Go to your search box, pop open Windows, and if you're doing this on your laptop, you're not going to be able to do it as much, so quickly go ahead and log on to the PC in front of you. But after that, you're going to install this stuff on your own. I'll give you, a website where you need to go in order to install stuff to do this stuff at home or on your laptop that you bring. So you type in IDLE, it should pop up something that says Python 3.6. And just trivia, the guy who invented the Python language was a huge Monty Python fan. And one of the leaders of Monty Python is a guy named Eric Idle, so that's why the thing got the name Idle. So anyways, that's why it got that absurd name. Why not create one called Lazy? Kind of. Anyways, so click on that, run it, and you should get a white window like that. I'll see if I can change the font size to make it more readable. Then what you're going to do, while you're at it, why not just click on the desktop and do new folder? New folder. Call it whatever you want. Call it CIT 1113 or programming or whatever. I'm going to call mine CIT 1113. Because that's where you're going to save all your scripts to make them easy to find. If you save them on the desktop, yeah, they're kind of easy to find there too, but don't rely, though, on these computers always having your information. Bring a USB drive and back your stuff up occasionally, because you never know when one of these computers is going to crash and then the IT department is going to come yank the computer and replace it with another one. Or you'll come in and somebody else will be sitting at your desk and then you feel uncomfortable telling them to get out of the way. More often it's that the computer stops working. They had to swap the hard drive out or they had to restore, from backup or whatever. You lose everything you saved to it. If you know how to use Google Drive and stuff like that, go ahead and upload your files there. There is, or at least there used to be, something called the Locker, I believe, on D2L where you could upload things. I'm not sure. Tools, Locker. You could try that out if you want to share your programs. Flash drives are cool. Unfortunately, they're easily lost, right? So if you lose your flash drive, come and look on the desk. People sometimes give them to the instructor, then go to the little IT room, which is down the hall, and to the left, and then if it's not there, go down to the office, and hopefully someone will find it. But by the way, it's a really bad idea if you find a flash drive of somebody else's to pop it in and just go and look at it. That's a common vector for bad programs to run on your computer. and viruses, Trojan horses, stuff like that. Alrighty, so where was I? We were about to run a program, type in a program. So we've got our folder there. Don't type your program into this thing. This is called the shell. Can you do something in a shell? No, you need, well, yeah, there's a couple things you can do, but we're not going to write our programs in a shell. The shell is for typing in things and getting immediate feedback, not writing programs. And what do I mean by that? In the shell, type A is equal to 3. Oh, I did need to make the text larger. All right, you've typed A is equal to 3. Say B, I'm going to put spaces here, but you don't have to. B is equal to A times 2. Now, when I said times, you have to translate that into your brain into asterisk or star, however you like to say it. However, it's easier to say times. Seems kind of childish, but better than saying A multiplied 2. A star 2, A times 2. I'm going to say times. So B is equal to A times 2. Hit return. Now do this. Print. And then you're going to use the parentheses, and you're going to use parentheses a lot in programming, so learn where they are on the keyboard. Shift 9, print, open parentheses, capital A, if you made your A capital, close parentheses, Shift 0. And it prints 3, because we did set A equal to 3. Just like variables in your algebra classes, you know, in high school, junior high, college, wherever. You have the idea of variables. Now, when we print out B, what is B going to print? What is B going to be equal to? Yeah, it's going to equal 6, because if A is 3, A times 2 is 6. Let's find that out. Print B. So here we're kind of using Python as like a calculator. You know, you type in something, it prints out an immediate response. If you had one of those programmable calculators that you spend $120 on to take to your chemistry or physics class or whatever, you know that there's two different modes. You type in your questions and answers. Type in something, hit enter, it shows it to you, or you can slip into a programming mode. That's what we're going to do now. So choose File New. File, New File. Now we are creating a Python program. But we need to give it a file name. The very first thing you ought to do is do a save as. If you don't do a save as, when you run it, it's going to ask you for a file name. We may as well just create the file name right off the bat. So do a save as and store it in the directory you just created. Now you see when I did save as and you look up here, it says program files 86, Python 32, 6, whatever. This is all in the system directories. We don't want to save our stuff here. You could, but it's going to mess something up. Python is going to stop working if you save things into the system directories. So don't do that. Go to your folder. Go to desktop and then find your 1113. And then let's just call this jan22.py. Py stands for Python. If you didn't add the py, it would add it for you. So anyways, jan22.py. All right, now I'm going to show you something real fast. I'm going to open the Windows Explorer, come over here. I like to have my Python folder in a very easy to access place. So you probably know how to add things to your favorites, but if you don't, you grab the folder and you drag it under here, underneath recent places. And then you can get to it without clicking on desktop. You can just click on that. Another thing that I want to show you is that if you go and open your Python directory and your file does not have that extension, that .py, it's because your computer is configured to not display extensions. You can still kind of tell what it is when it says Python file here. But I strongly recommend that everybody enable viewing extensions. And that's done in different places in every single version of Windows. They go and they hide it. But at least on the computers you're using here, go to Organize, Folder and Search Options. If you don't do this, it's not going to break your program, your computer, but it makes things easier to find. Then click, once you're inside folder options, click View, and you have 8 gazillion little checkboxes here. The one that we want is called Hide Extensions for Known File Types. Well, I don't want my extensions hidden. You know, I like seeing .doc for my Word docs and .xl for my Excel files and .py, you know, and .exe. All of that is very useful information. So I do not want hide extensions clicked. Unclick it. Click Apply. Click OK. And now if you ever go back to your folder, which you're going to be doing, you will see the file name complete, not with part of it trimmed off. And I know that you computer users, you know, have grown up, you know, using Windows or whatever, you know, from your crib and probably know all this stuff. But there's going to be somebody who that's new to, so I recommend that you do that. All right, so we're going to write a program. Age is equal to, well, let's do a print statement first. Print, parentheses, and I add lots of spaces to make things clear, but you don't have to. Parentheses, double quote, what is your age? Question mark. And when I say the word end quote, that means that I want you to stop the quoting by typing in another quote. So, you know, everything, here's like the beginning of your quote, there's the beginning of your quote. So quote, what is your age? Question mark, another quote sign, another parentheses. So technically that's your open parentheses, that's your open quote, that's your end quote, and that's your end parentheses. Now that's not very much of a useful program, right? If you run this, how do we run our programs? We click on the Run menu and choose Run Module. And it says, what is your age? Great, that's all it did, really? You know, okay, well, whatever. You know, it's not actually doing anything yet. It's just printing something. So I'm going to click this little close thing on the shell just to get it out of the way. Let's actually get that age. Age is equal to input, open parentheses, close parentheses, Shift 9, Shift 0. And I'm putting blank lines between stuff, but I'm going to stop doing that pretty soon. Now we're going to check if age is less than 17, colon, that colon is important. And when you type that colon and hit enter, it's going to tab over. These tabs are incredibly important in this language, less so in other languages. If our age is less than 17, we're going to print too young for the Air Force. Now I want my next thing to be untabbed. So when I hit enter and I go to the next line, I'm going to backspace so that it's untabbed. And I'm going to type else colon, not quote, else colon, print, go and list, exclamation mark, end quote, in parentheses. And then just to show that we're done, I'm going to do a print, parentheses, quote, just the word done. That'll be enough. End parentheses, or end quote, end parentheses. Okay, we've written a program. Not going to do much, but it's going to ask for their age, and if their age is less than 17, it's going to say too young for the Air Force. Now that's implying that 17-year-olds can enroll in the Air Force, enlist. I'm not sure that's true. I know that in some services, you know, with the parents' permission, or your guardian's permission, you can enroll. You can enlist under the age of 18, like the Coast Guard. I'm not sure if that's true for the Air Force. So we don't want to make it to where it's less than 17. That was a mistake, because that would let 16-year-olds not enlist, but 17-year-olds enlist. So we're going to change that logic a little bit in a minute. But let's run it and see what it does. Run module. And we're going to need to end pretty soon. What is your age? My age is, I'm old, I'm 90. Oh, and it blew up. I made a mistake here. So I'm going to close this window in which it ran, this shell. I'm going to go back to my program here, and there's a line of code I need to add between or right after that age statement before that if. So this is going to look like this. Age is equal sign int parentheses age end parentheses. And it's okay that we don't know what all this stuff is. Like when you were learning to play, soccer or whatever, you saw the people running around on the field, even though, you didn't know how to run yourself yet. Now that I've made that change, I'm going to try running it one more time. Now, although you don't see me doing it, after I make a change, I hit Control S to save it. If I didn't do that, then when I went run module, it's going to say module must be saved, okay to save. Nothing wrong with doing it that way. All right, what is your age? I'm 90. Go enlist. That seems to work. I'm going to type in a value that's too young. Run module. What is your age? I'm 3. Too young for the Air Force. Done. What if I'm 18? 18 is supposedly the youngest. Go enlist. Okay, that works. Whenever you write a program, you want to test more than once. Programmers tend to write code to try to make sure it works, but you're also trying to make it fail. So because if you don't try to make it fail, you're not really sure if it works under all circumstances. What is your age? Here's the bug in my program, is that when I type 17, it's not supposed to say go enlist. It's supposed to say too young. So I made an error. The error is I should make this less than 18, or I should make it say less than or equal to 17. I think I'm going to make it less than 18. So I'm going to change that 17 to 18. Then I'm going to run it. Now I'm going to test that condition, that error condition. I'm going to type in 17, and it says too young for the Air Force, and now it is working. Now, if I'd asked you to write this program, I would have told you, make 18 your cutoff, whatever. I'd give you clear instructions for it instead of just asking you to, come up with your own requirements. So if you've got that done, if it's working, excellent. You'll find your script out in that folder. We're going to need to upload it into a Dropbox. And if you didn't get it working, that's okay. You can upload it anyways. In class assignments, I usually don't get irate at you if you upload something that's not working. I would rather you get it working. But time is limited, and if you had to get to your next class, you couldn't sit here and work on it for 30 minutes. But I do want everybody to get this working. I hope that it was simple enough to get it working. If not, I'm going to walk around in a minute as soon as I create the Dropbox for this. So I'm going to go back into D2L, go to Assignments, New Folder, and this is in Class A. First program is my comment there. All right, so in D2L, click on Assignments. You'll see our folder here.